Buttercups, I'm excited to have you here. It's Handsome Larry. So in this video, I'll be showing you exactly how I process my tomatoes for storage. And this method helps me save a lot of electricity or gas. Just hop on and go on this ride with me. So right now I'm washing my tomatoes. I'm washing them thoroughly because I don't want to have any dirt on them. I bought them from my local market. They are really cheap this season, so I advise you to go get yours. I don't think they are going to be any cheaper than this. I bought these whole tomatoes for 3,000 naira. I don't know how cheap they are in your location, but in my place they are really okay. So right now I'm applying pressure to the fruits and putting them in my pot. I'm doing this in preparation for boiling. And in this method, you're going to see that the only time majorly that this takes is just the time to get your tomatoes to boil. You don't have to add any water to the pot because it's going to release its own juices, and that's what is going to cook it down. The essence of cooking the tomatoes down is so that they become softer for my blender and to get rid of the juices. So as you can see here, I'm almost done squeezing. My fingers are aching. I think I'm going to use a knife to cut them into quarters next. You saw the water and the fruit and the seeds that came out of that. So I came back to check my pot, and as you can see, it's releasing its juices already. This juice is going to help the tomatoes cook to a tender consistency. You don't have to overcook them. I guess I made a mistake in this one by allowing them to overcook, but I'm going to correct myself. So I discovered I had a bigger pot, which is going to save me more time. So I'm going to be doing the next batch in that pot. So here now I'm transferring my next batch of tomatoes into this pot, and I'm going to follow the exact same process I did with the others. Just that at some point, I think I remembered I had to cut them into quarters with a knife, and that's what I've done here. So I come back again, and I'm seeing that my tomatoes are releasing so much juice. God, look at this. If you were to cook this from scratch, if you were to boil and cook this from scratch, it's going to take a lot of time. So I transferred it into a colander. I did that with a big colander and this one, which I used in collecting some portion of it just so that the table will not be crowded. So I'm using the pulse function of my blender to make sure that it blends a bit before it breaks down the particles before I grind more smoothly. Why I'm using the pulse button is because we're not adding any water to this, so we're trying to get the blender to do its thing. Look at this. Some other persons can even store this right away, and trust me, it tastes fresh, like fresh tomatoes. You're not going to get tired of eating this because of the long hours it took you to cook it. Like, it's still filled with flavor and all, but I'm going to transfer mine onto the burner again, and I will just do a little more boiling just to get rid of any more water so that it can last a lot longer. And whenever I'm making my stew or my jollof, it will not take me too long to fry again. So you can see it's beginning to boil, and it was splashing like crazy because it was super thick. Now here I am tired at this point. I'm really, really tired. So please don't mind my dirty pot, my messy pot. I had to freeze the first batch I made because I made the first batch and I continued with the rest later. So I done.